separation of powers, the legislature and its membership were elected by the 290 constituencies, the 47 women county representatives, and the 47 senators, and of course, those who will be nominated by the parties are not in any way part of the contest going on before the Supreme Court. Number 4, a member of parliament elect unless sworn in does not enjoy the benefits and the privilege that accrue to such a member. Further, the member cannot access the assigned functions and authority. This invariably prejudices the member who remains a stranger to the House and denies the patriotic citizens who voted for the member the electorate representation. So all the members who are elected by the constituencies and the counties will not have the ability to represent their people, to legislate, to oversight, until they are sworn in. Failure by NASA, members of parliament, to attend the swearing-in ceremony is undeniably ill-advised, unwise, is reckless and absurd. And MPs and senators that stay away from the swearing-in ceremony do so at their own peril. It's their business. The speaker will be elected, members will be sworn in, because the constitutional provision and procedure has been followed. The president has gazetted the day and the place of the first sitting of parliament in accordance with Article 126, subsection 2. The clerk of the National Assembly and the clerk of the Senate have today gazetted officially the day. And if you read the papers today, according to the standing orders, the vacancy of the speaker and the deputy speaker have been declared vacant. And the nomination papers have already been tabled at the clerk's office for anybody to go and pick those nomination papers. So the process has begun for the swearing in of members and the election of the speaker. They have their right to boycott, but the process will continue. Further, number 5, the directive by NASA for its members to stay away is not only irrational, but it exposes the high level of hypocrisy, deception, and two-face. In the past week, NASA principals, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, attended the inauguration of Honorable Charity Ngilu as the governor of Kitui, while Honorable Raila Odinga attended the inauguration ceremony of Honorable Hassan Ali Joho of Mombasa. The NASA Senate, the NASA elected governors alongside NASA members of the National Assembly and NASA Senate. So when they were attending, they were with members of the Senate and the members of the National Assembly. Why does the coalition allow their governors to be sworn in and disadvantage NASA members of the National Assembly and the Senate? I remind you nonetheless that this is not the first attempt by the opposition to disrupt the proceedings, the swearing-in proceedings of this House. But in contrast to the previous efforts, instructions are regrettably being issued by persons who are not members of parliament and who value power at any expense. This is what I said in the last 5 years when I served in the 11th parliament, that I hope this time around, those who will ascend to the leadership of the minority parties, both in the Senate and in the National Assembly, will have the powers to lead their troops. You know, when you lead or when you are led by a person who has never won a seat in the Senate and in the National Assembly, this is the kind of things, you know. Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Musalia, Mudavadi, Isaac Ruto, you know, are just citizens out there. They cannot direct their troops. In the standing orders and in the Constitution, the office of the leader of majority and the leader of minority is well stipulated in Article 108 of the Constitution. So you are the elected member of parliament. Somebody who has lost cannot direct you not to attend your own swearing in. You know, it's like somebody tell you not to attend your wedding. You know, you plan your wedding on the day you're supposed to tie the knot and the bishop, everybody is there. A character who is not a member of even the wedding steering committee comes and tells you, don't go and tie the knot. I think Honorable Junet and his team, they must listen and they must read the Constitution. The NASA coalition continues to undermine our Constitution the Supreme Court, and other governance institutions. They conveniently disregard the rule of law and have demonstrated repeatedly that they cannot lose fairly in any electoral contest. We are aware of attempts to destabilize Kenya. We are aware of their attempts to destabilize Kenya, and your hypocrisy shall be exposed. As I conclude, I note with grief that the futile attempts by NASA to destabilize the work of Parliament. These efforts are misguided, they are hollow, and can only serve to the disadvantage of NASA-elected members of Parliament. That's the end of our statement. Until Article 142(1) is achieved and a new president is declared, there is a president in place, and he will exercise all the authority that has been given to him. Number two, for example, today, we're even told there's going to be a rerun. Parliament must call for the Budget Affairs Committee must be constituted. They must do, and Parliament must do, the National Assembly must do what we call supplementary estimates to rearrange the funding that will be given to the IEBC to conduct that rerun. Another example is today, let's say Kenya is invaded by an external enemy. Do we say that there's no president in place to guide the nation? So these are people, you know, because they hyped the nation. They spoke big. They didn't speak to the people of Kenya. They spent a lot of time talking about rigging and violence and many things. And when the people of Kenya went to the polls, they decided to elect the people who had a scorecard, the people who had an agenda, and that happened to be the Jubilee. That's why we have numbers in the National Assembly. We have extremely high numbers in the Senate, in the Council of Governors. So as we wait for the verdict of the Supreme Court, and from tomorrow evening, we will be at the Supreme Court, the members of Parliament from the Jubilee Coalition. Because we are the stakeholders, we are the clients. We are the client, the Jubilee is there. So we want to ask each and every member-elect to seize the opportunity. You have been elected to represent a constituency, a county, if you are a senator or a women rep. Do not listen to the shenanigans of those who have lost election and who are used to losing elections. It's not the first time they have lost election. They should hang their boots and give us a space as Parliament to legislate policies and laws that will make the Jubilee Coalition run and fulfill the transformation agenda that we have signed with the people of Kenya. Iko swali? Iko swali? Bas. Kiswahili sijui.